The grand mansion stood tall and magnificent, its commanding presence defining the most affluent neighborhood in the city. It was a living testament to Claudia's remarkable achievements, a physical embodiment of her unparalleled success. From the towering, wide windows, she looked out over her sprawling estate with a sense of fulfillment. Each sleepless night, every sacrifice she had endured, seemed to crystallize into this singular moment of triumph. Wealthy, powerful, and deeply admired, Claudia was the very picture of a woman who had conquered her world. Beside her stood Andrew, her husband, who appeared to share her contentment. Yet, a subtle unease flickered in his gaze, a fleeting restlessness she was too absorbed to see. "Is this what they call heaven on earth, Claudia?" Andrew's voice was soft, devoid of inflection, as he broke the silence. Claudia turned to him, her smile warm but composed, and gently took his hand. "Yes, Andrew. This is everything I've dreamed of. And believe me, it's only the beginning for us." Claudia's empire wasn't built overnight. It was forged through relentless perseverance, endless nights of hard work, and an unyielding determination. Her unbreakable commitment to her goals was both her strength and her rhythm, propelling her past every obstacle. Andrew admired her fierce ambition, though there were moments when he saw it as overwhelming. Her drive was boundless, and it defined her. "Let's do something special tonight," Claudia suggested, her voice unusually light. "I've booked us a table at your favorite restaurant." "You deserve this, Andrew." Andrew's lips curved into a smile, a polite acknowledgement of her effort. Yet, beneath the surface, his smile lacked true joy. As Claudia turned toward the mirror to adjust her earrings, Andrew's reflection revealed a fleeting shadow in his expression, a flicker of something darker, something resentful, which he quickly masked. Claudia's life revolved around her empire. Contracts, negotiations, and major decisions consumed her every waking moment. She believed Andrew to be her perfect match, a supportive partner who shared her vision and aspirations. What she failed to see was Andrew's inner conflict. He was a man with his own desires, restless and youthful, drawn not just to Claudia's brilliance but also to the opulence and status she provided. Later that evening, Claudia's phone rang, a call she couldn't afford to miss. Apologizing, she left Andrew alone at the dinner table. Watching her retreat, irritation flickered across his face. As soon as she was out of sight, he pulled out his phone. His fingers moved swiftly as he typed a short but telling message. "It's clear. Meet me now." He slid the phone back into his pocket, finishing his drink with a calm, practiced ease. When Claudia returned, her focus had already shifted back to work, her mind preoccupied with her empire's demands. She barely noticed Andrew's lingering distraction. "Enjoy your evening, Andrew," she said with a brief kiss on his cheek before heading back to her study. Andrew smiled faintly and stepped out into the night with a sense of purpose. He drove quickly, the city lights fading behind him as he pulled into a secluded parking lot just beyond the neighborhood's edge. Waiting for him was Victor, a much younger associate of Claudia's. "Everything's set?" Andrew asked, his tone low and urgent. Victor leaned against his car, arms crossed. "She'll be taking her car tomorrow morning for that meeting. It's all ready. No one will suspect a thing." A sly smile spread across Andrew's face. "Good. This is our moment. Once she's gone, everything she's worked for will be ours." Victor's eyes gleamed with anticipation. The plan was about more than simply removing Claudia from the picture. It was about seizing her legacy, her wealth, and the empire she had built with her bare hands. For these men, betrayal wasn't just a choice. It was a calculated step toward their ambitions. Claudia had built her empire with fierce determination and unrelenting hard work, and one of her greatest strengths was her ability to trust the right people. Among them was Victor, her sharp and ambitious business associate. Over the years, she had come to rely on him for critical decisions, trusting him implicitly, a trust that had now become her greatest vulnerability. Victor had used that trust to his advantage, granting himself access to Claudia's world in ways she never questioned. It was this very access that allowed him to execute the dangerous plan. He had tampered with the brakes of Claudia's car, ensuring that the impending accident would look like a tragic, random misfortune. "What happens after?" Victor asked Andrew, his tone careful, almost hesitant, as if testing the waters of their treachery. Andrew's reply came without hesitation, his voice calm but laced with cold calculation. "We keep it simple. Grieve, of course. Play the part of the devastated husband. But as soon as the dust settles, I'll take over. With her gone, every piece of her empire transfers to me." Victor nodded, satisfied with the plan, though a hint of unease lingered in his expression. Neither of the men noticed the figure hiding in the shadows, a young street girl named Mia. She had taken refuge near the edge of the parking lot, trying to escape the biting cold of the night. When she saw Andrew's car pull in and heard the muffled voices, her curiosity had gotten the better of her. Creeping closer, she stayed hidden, blending into the darkness as she eavesdropped on their chilling conversation. At first, Mia didn't fully grasp the weight of what she was hearing. But as the pieces fell into place, her pulse quickened. The woman they were plotting against was Claudia, someone whose name she had heard whispered with reverence by strangers passing through the city streets. A powerful figure, unreachable and untouchable. Yet here were two men, close to her, planning her downfall. Mia's heart pounded. She was just a girl without a home, family, or connections. Most people passed her by without so much as a glance, and she had survived this long by staying out of sight and out of trouble. But this was different. The weight of the conspiracy pressed down on her, making it impossible to walk away. After Andrew and Victor left, Mia emerged from the shadows. Her resolve hardened. She didn't know exactly how, but she was determined to warn Claudia. The next morning, Claudia prepared to leave for an important meeting, oblivious to the danger that awaited her. Mia had spent the entire night pacing outside the gates of the mansion, rehearsing her words, trying to summon the courage to approach someone so far removed from her world. When she saw Claudia's sleek car begin to roll out of the driveway, Mia ran toward it, waving her arms frantically. Startled, Claudia braked abruptly, her expression shifting from irritation to curiosity as she rolled down the window. "What are you doing here?" "Who are you?" she demanded, her tone sharp and guarded. Mia's voice trembled, but her urgency propelled her forward. "Please. I need to talk to you. It's about your safety." Claudia frowned, her eyes narrowing as she studied the disheveled girl before her. "You have 1 minute. Speak." Mia took a deep breath, her words tumbling out in a rush. "I overheard a conversation last night. Your husband, Andrew, and a man named Victor, they're planning something terrible. They've tampered with your car's brakes. They want it to look like an accident so they can take everything you've worked for." Claudia's face remained unreadable, but the disbelief in her eyes was clear. "That's absurd. My husband would never." "Please, just listen," Mia interrupted, her voice cracking with emotion. "I know how this sounds. It seems crazy, but I swear I'm telling the truth. You don't have to believe me. Just check the brakes before you leave. If I'm wrong, fine. But if I'm right." Her voice trailed off, but something in her desperate tone and the raw sincerity of her plea struck a chord. Claudia hesitated, her mind racing. Could this disheveled stranger really know something she didn't? Or was this just the rambling of a troubled young woman? Mia's eyes glistened, silently begging Claudia to trust her, even just for a moment. The weight of the warning hung heavy in the air as Claudia grappled with the decision that could change everything. Claudia hesitated, her instincts urging her to dismiss the strange girl's warning. But desperation, mixed with a growing sense of unease, made her pause. Against her better judgment, she called her trusted mechanic to inspect the car. Moments later, the truth unraveled before her. The brakes had indeed been tampered with. A cold chill ran down Claudia's spine as the betrayal began to sink in. Andrew, the man she had shared her life with, the one she trusted above all, had been plotting her demise. Her mind reeled, but her exterior remained composed. Turning to Mia, who stood nervously by the car, Claudia spoke firmly. "Get in. We need to talk." Mia hesitated briefly, unsure of what was to come, but eventually climbed into the passenger seat. Claudia drove them to a secluded spot, far from prying eyes and ears. The atmosphere was heavy with tension as Mia recounted every detail of the conversation she had overheard. Each word cut deeper, but instead of succumbing to despair, Claudia felt a fire ignite within her, a fierce resolve to fight back. "You've done something incredibly brave," Claudia said at last, her tone steady but filled with an edge of determination. "And now, I need your help." What followed was the crafting of a meticulous plan. A plan not just for survival, but for justice. Claudia wasted no time contacting her lawyer. She revised her will, adding a clause to ensure Andrew wouldn't inherit a single penny if a death occurred under suspicious circumstances. Every detail was calculated to outmaneuver her betrayers. Then came the next move, staging her own demise. With the help of trusted allies, Claudia orchestrated a convincing fake accident, making it appear as though Andrew's plan had succeeded. The following morning, news of Claudia's tragic death spread like wildfire. Sympathy poured in, and Andrew played the part of the heartbroken widower with unnerving ease, accepting condolences with a carefully curated mask of sorrow. Victor, meanwhile, lingered in the background, smug and self-assured, convinced that their scheme had worked flawlessly. What neither of them realized was that Claudia, very much alive, was watching their every move from a secure location, with Mia at her side. Mia, once invisible to the world, now played a vital role in Claudia's counterattack. Together, they monitored Andrew and Victor's actions, gathering undeniable evidence of their conspiracy. It didn't take long for the two men to begin plotting how they would seize control of Claudia's assets, completely unaware that the net was closing in around them. The climax came during the reading of Claudia's will. Andrew and Victor sat confidently, expecting their windfall to be officially handed over. But their triumph turned to confusion, and then panic, when the lawyer revealed the clause that barred them from inheriting anything in light of suspicious circumstances surrounding Claudia's death. Before they could process the blow, the room fell silent as the doors opened, and Claudia entered. Alive, composed, and utterly commanding. "Surprised to see me?" she asked, her voice calm but laced with icy resolve. Andrew's mouth fell open, his attempts to respond reduced to incoherent stammers. Victor paled, frozen in place as if the walls were closing in. Claudia laid everything bare, recounting the betrayal with precision and leaving no room for their denials. Her words were sharp, cutting through the flimsy defenses they attempted to muster. By the time the police arrived, both men had resigned themselves to their fate. The evidence Claudia and Mia had gathered sealed their arrests, and their ambitions crumbled before their eyes. As the chaos subsided, Claudia turned to Mia, her expression softening for the first time. "You saved my life," she said, her voice filled with gratitude and conviction. "I won't forget what you've done." True to her word, Claudia offered Mia more than just thanks. She offered her a place in her home, a chance to rebuild the life she'd never had. What began as a simple gesture of gratitude grew into a bond of trust and mutual respect. Claudia took Mia under her wing, teaching her the skills to navigate a world that had once been closed off to her. In turn, Mia reminded Claudia of the strength found in loyalty and courage. Together, they forged a new chapter, one defined not by betrayal but by hope and resilience. For Claudia, it was a chance to rebuild not just her empire but her belief in others. For Mia, it was an opportunity to find a home, a purpose, and a future she had never dared to dream of. Their lives, forever changed by a night of treachery, intertwined into a story of redemption and renewal. Together, they faced the world with the knowledge that trust and bravery could transform even the darkest of betrayals into a beacon of light.